This is actually a high level of realization and wisdom. When you reach this point in your evolutionary journey where you realize, like, damn, I cannot make happen what I want to make happen. The manifestation people, teachers, and blah, 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 and reprogram your mind and all that stuff, it doesn't work. Not for this situation, whatever that situation is. It doesn't work. The harder I try, the more miserable I am. Like it's not the same thing as when I was going to get my bachelor's degree. It's just very cut and dry. Okay, you go to the classes and you pass the classes, you get your BA degree. Or if you're clever, you can find a school, if you know the superintendent or something, you just buy it. Can I just buy my degree? I don't want to waste my time in school. Yeah, I'll hook you up. You see, that's different. This material, worldly goals is different than spiritual goals. You can't buy evolution. You can't do it. Try it. And people who have strong karmic situations, challenges, you can't change that. If the divine doesn't want you, for example, to have a bunch of money, you are not going to have a bunch of money. If the divine doesn't want you to, at least at this moment, to find your perfect mate relationship, your matching mate, man, you are not going to find it. If you have a certain addiction or challenge or existential situation, health situation, yeah, and you want to get rid of that, but if there's spiritual vitamins in those situations that you need to those vitamins get released via the suffering of the situation because it's for your own higher good. If that's the destiny, you're not going to get rid of your health situation. See, that's my story. That's what the book's about. I hopped from continent to continent for a couple decades. I'm clever. I'm pretty good. I got everything I've growing up. I could manage to figure out how to get things I wanted. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go find a cure. Couldn't find it. The harder I tried, the crazier I got. The self-obsession, this rat race in the mind, was just making me sick. It was making all my issues worse. Yeah, can you relate to that? Those that can relate to that, I'm talking to you. Those that think you can manifest your dreams by going to this class or listening to this teacher, go ahead. There's so much business, marketing, propaganda out there. All you got to do is do this, and you realize, the nano level, and then you reprogram, and you can heal anything. Or okay, try it. That's all I'm going to say. You can't trump God's will for you. No, but we're one with the Creator, and so then we are the ones creating. It's all this justification. Try it. That's all I say. Just try it. I'm not interested in debating something that I already know is true. What I'm sharing is an opinion. It's just not. It's not like we're talking about oh, well, this tree is prettier than that tree. That's opinion. What I'm sharing is not. So, those of you who have realized that, and that takes some time to realize that. So those that have realized that, I already know you're at a higher level because you've been driven to your depth on some level. To have that surrender principle activated in you, where you're like, I have no choice but to surrender because I don't have the power to do it. And this is where the misunderstanding takes place in a lot of people, is that they see this as giving up. Don't give up, man. 90% of the world, they're going to tell you that. Don't give up. You just keep going. It's not a giving up it's not a negative giving up. It's the supreme giving up. You give up your self-willpower in exchange for divine power. This is what real surrender and giving up means. All right, I'm at a crossroad. I've walked this trail so many times, and I don't know. Let's see what happens. So, but to get to that point to where you realize this, what I'm saying, Most of us, unless we're blessed with some super high level God perception from the beginning, most of us have to try our heart out using self-will and mental power to try to get what we want. And then in time, over and over again, we realize, like, damn, I keep pushing it away. I'm like getting worse. I'm making myself crazy. And then at some point, the life force doesn't support, this is grace, doesn't support you spending any more energy, personal energy. There's a difference between personal energy and universal energy. It doesn't support you just going after this endeavor anymore. It's like your karma got burnt up. So then, in that surrendered state that you need to constantly renew, by the way, because the mind and ego has very strong recuperative powers. It's going to come back, the next day and say, well, maybe you should check on Google. There might be something there, or whatever. Oh, my friend told me about this healer. He heals everybody. Wow. You see? So you got to, the vigilance doesn't stop there. You get to where when you surrender, you're still open, though, for how the universe wants to give you some guidance in direction on how to, I think I went the wrong way, on how to improve the situation that you're in that you're wanting to change. You see what I mean? It's not like you give up and you see, the mind don't understand surrender. That's the point. It's not that you give up and you're like, okay, I just gave up. I'm not even going to try to improve myself anymore. No, you're getting your direction and guidance from a higher source that is the only way that it can improve you anyway. You have challenges that the mundane level of how things are done, it's just a waste of time. Write your goals down and think positive. Like, that stuff is meaningless regarding certain situations and challenges. So I'm talking to those people that know what I'm talking about. So then you give up, but you're still open to being guided by this higher force, higher power that's in you. I'll give you an example, because I've had neck trouble my whole life. Searched the planet for answers, didn't find any, gave up. God's grace helped me give up. But then, out of the blue, I had an intuitive thought. Said, why don't you try going to a physical therapist? The mind says, oh, that's not going to work, blah, blah, blah. No, but the thought came with some energy. It was backed by some power. That's the thing. When it's a divine ordained thing, you get the power, the environment shapes and shifts to support you. It's like the whole thing is the whole world supporting that intuitive inclination you have. Then you're like, okay, this is divine. Because I was in a small village in Ecuador. I'm like, but there's probably no physical therapist. So I looked and tried to find one. I found one. And she was cool. I liked her. And then she got me going a little bit. And then I came to the U.S. and I got tried some other physical therapists. They were more knowledgeable. And then I ended up finding, they show me some exercises and stretches that can strengthen the surrounding tissues of my problem to help take the slack off the injured parts. That allows a more comfortable existence. So I learned this physical therapy, and then I go to the gym and I duplicate it. I'm like, that wasn't a logical decision I made to go do that. That was grace. That was an intuitive insight I had. As an example of my mind trying to figure things out was like the 20 years of me jumping around the planet. Go to this massage parlor, massage therapist, go to this healer, go to try this special herbs and antidotes and blah, blah, blah. You see? Look on Google, try to find, what's the latest research, what do they do? All that. That was a very neurotic energy, though. It was a very restless energy that was fueling that search. That's the difference between intuition And when the mind, seriously, like, I don't know which way to go. That's the difference between the mind versus intuition. So that's my answer for those people who have who are struggling with certain existential, challenging situations. You somehow let these words work on you if you're feeling it, because the direction's there. You surrender to the cards that you've been dealt. Somehow your intuition knows. It knows. It's telling you somehow. I don't know if you can listen to it. It might be telling you, like, you know what, man, call off the search. It's just making things more difficult. The mind gets panicky, though. It doesn't want to do that. You have to be aware of that play. And then just see how it feels to just give up. So, you know what, I may never feel better. I may never get this. I may never have money. I may never find my romantic partner. Just, how does that feel? I may never find it. I'm just giving up. Start to get acquainted with that. That's surrender. Get acquainted with that. And then also be open to discerning the difference if intuition starts moving you in a certain direction. Yeah, that's my message. All right, I'll see you.